What's up, everyone? I'm your spiritual gardener, here to plant seeds of consciousness. It's just your job to water them. Okay, so we are having a pretty interesting week coming up, okay? I'm going to try to make this short and sweet. Today, especially, and moving into tomorrow, are pretty hard days. We've got the moon in Pisces, okay? The moon in Pisces, it feels a lot. Can be a little bit disillusioned, and with that we also have Neptune with Mars, okay? So Mars is the warrior spirit. It's our warrior, our inner warrior. Neptune is a reflection of delusions. So it's kind of like the Leo King David Palmer said, it's like a warrior stepping into the fog. Like, you don't really know what you're going to expect. And anytime we have the moon met up with Mars, it can create, a little bit of tension. So don't be too surprised if today and tomorrow, you're not completely in the right mindset. Especially with Neptune being here, it can create a lot of delusions, okay? And by delusions, I mean escapism. So we could find ourselves trying to retreat to old habits of, it can be anything. It can be addictions to drugs, it could be alcohol, it can be addictions to relationships, escaping certain scenarios in order to just kind of be in your own essence and avoid them. So that's a really big thing that's going to be going on for today and tomorrow. And with that as well, we have had, Venus has been retrograde now for quite some time. It's going direct on the 26th, so it's almost done. But when Venus goes retrograde, it's a time for us to really reflect on our relationships and a lot on our personal relationships. And this entire time of being in Gemini, Gemini is the social butterfly when it has Venus there, and we really haven't had that kind of connection a lot lately. But it's been making a square to Neptune, okay? So anytime something makes a square, as I say, there's no flow, okay? Like a trine is a 120-degree angle. It can flow a lot easier. A square, you're stuck, okay? So having a square to Neptune representing delusions, our relationships can, they've been pretty confusing for the last, 3-4 weeks now. So it will be going back direct on the 26th. So things are going to start to ease from that, and, it'll start moving forward. So this is a time for us right now to reflect on our relationships and really get to the bottom of things that might be bugging us, and maybe some conversations that we need to have with our loved ones. So that's really important right now, and I'm sure a lot of us have already been feeling that. This is the time they say, don't contact your ex. A lot of that type of, situations tend to come up when Venus is retrograde. The next thing we do have coming, though, is Mercury is going retrograde, okay? So Mercury is going retrograde on the 17th, and Mercury retrograde is the one people know the most about. Everyone kind of freaks out about Mercury retrograde, but Mercury goes retrograde 3 times a year, every 88 days, okay? Every other planet some take 2.5 years, some longer, some a little bit less, but Mercury about every 3 months is going retrograde. So for Geminis and Virgos, it's a little bit more felt. But Mercury represents our communications, our thought process, okay? So that's why they say a lot of things happen with technology errors, or, like communication gets kind of jumbled around and people don't understand things quite so clearly. So, that is going to be happening on this upcoming Wednesday, and it's in the sign of Cancer, okay? Cancer is the most emotional sign in the zodiac. Pisces has, all water signs have their emotions, but Cancer is a cardinal sign. It gets things going. So when it gets those emotions going, they're going, okay? And it's going to be directly opposing, meaning 180-degree aspect to all the crazy planets that we have right now in Capricorn, which are Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn, okay? They're all hanging out together right now, and those are the 3 mean ones. We don't like those. So since we've had the retrograde of Saturn that moved back into Capricorn, this is when the whole riots and everything started. And if you look at my last post, March 20th, I think it was, you know, days before this all happened, I actually put out a warning that we will see the most protests and the most type of energy just like this during the season. And sure enough, about a week later is when we started getting into the protests. And you know, this is definitely energy that needs to be had. It's long overdue. And you know, it's also, it's a repeating Saturn cycle. You know, Saturn takes about 28 to 30 years to fully revolve around the sun. And the last time it was in Capricorn or fully revolved was during the Rodney King riots. So we're seeing a lot of the similar energy. You know, the whole saying of history repeating itself. Why do you think that history repeats itself? You know what I mean? It's not just a coincidence. Like, there is no such thing as a coincidence, okay? History has continued to repeat itself because of astrology. So when we can find these, you know, points and change them, then history won't repeat itself in the same negative pattern. So this is a huge wake-up call. We haven't had this crazy of energy. I mean, the Rodney King era, you know, we did, but not this crazy since the 1500s and even in the 1200s. So we're talking a long, long time, okay? So it is time for dramatic change, and I think we can all feel that. So having Mercury in Cancer, though, Mercury in Cancer is very emotional, okay? So our thoughts, our emotions are going to be at an all-time high, and going retrograde is when we take everything inwards. So it's going to do a lot on our mental health, and we've already been feeling this, you know, everybody, you know, just with the whole quarantine and everything else that's going on. Mental health is on a high rise right now, with, you know, Neptune making a hard square to Venus, our love sign and relationships, and then Neptune is delusion in a sense. It calls for, you know, mental health issues. So, you know, check on your friends, make sure that people are doing okay right now, because this is a huge time for people to not be in their best mindset, okay? And we're going to see a bit more of this now as soon as this retrograde takes place with Mercury. And it's going to be opposing, you know, the big dogs, like I said, in Capricorn. And it's ruling money, politics, all of those things. So sadly, this isn't the end. We've come to a lot of, you know, a lot of great changes so far throughout the protests and whatnot, but it's not the end. We're going to see this energy persist, you know, very strongly through the end of June, and into July with the next eclipse that we have, which will be in Capricorn and Cancer. Okay. And I'll get more into that in another video. But for now, I just want everyone to be aware that mental health today and tomorrow and on to the next day are going to be extremely important. We might have some traumas that come up that are, you know, past parts of ourselves, addictions. And like I said, that doesn't have to be drugs or alcohol or anything. It can just be certain ways that we've gone about dealing with things that aren't healthy for us anymore. And it's time to make that change. So with Mars there too, it can create a little bit of aggressiveness. So if you've had a little bit of an aggressive mind the last couple days, or you can feel it happening now because its real conjunction is tomorrow, you know, don't be surprised. So just be ready. But you know, we want to reflect on these aspects. We don't want to just kind of let them explode, okay? So it's not easy when we have Mars in Pisces, because Pisces is not a fighter. Pisces is a big lover, and Mars is a fighter, okay? So it's like, it's trying to throw like Mary Poppins in the middle of a fight. I don't know if that's a good example. She could probably fly away on her freaking umbrella or whatever, but you know, it's like putting Barney in a fight with, you know, like a super warrior, like an X-Men figure, I don't know. And so it's not the easiest. And when the moon's in Pisces, people that naturally have their moon in Pisces are more prone to addictions, and that's just the truth of the matter. So this will be the energy for the next couple of days, and especially with it being on top of Neptune, okay? Because Neptune rules, like I said, delusions, but it's also our highest consciousness, okay? So we do have the ability now to break that pattern and choose to rise above it. This is the time right now, right now. And we're not going to get many other opportunities like this, and especially going into the crazy energy that we have coming. It's time to make that change right now. So if you have anything you've been putting on the back burner for quite too long, and you know it, we all have our own thing, okay? We all do. It's time to put a stop to it. It really is, because it's not going to help you progress, and if anything, you're really going to be regretting it here pretty soon, because when these planets are making crazy aspects here towards the end of the month and moving forward through the end of the year, you're going to want to be ready, okay? So it's not a time to escape and try to run from these type of things. So if you need someone to talk to, hey, message me. You know, I've gone through plenty of my own mental things. So if you know, I'm one to talk to, a friend, anybody, reach out and try to talk to somebody. If you know a friend that you know has problems mentally, reach out to them. Just, you know, hey, how's it going? Simple as that. You know what I mean? A lot of people have been in this quarantine dealing with a lot of stuff lately, maybe family members that aren't the best with them, you know, and that's also has to do with this Venus making a hard aspect to Neptune. So we could be dealing with family members that just aren't understanding us, that we're not able to really have that emotional connection with a lot lately, because everything's kind of just at this hiatus right now. So, you know, everybody's very fragile right now. There are many good things to come, though. There are many good things to come. It's, you know, we're going through the brunt of some shit right now. And if you've looked at my posts or my videos in the past, I have talked about the fact that, you know, this energy that's repeating right now has brought civil wars in the past, because we're repeating history right now. Civil wars and martial law have been something I've been talking about for the last year. So, you know, I just want everyone to be prepared for this retrograde going on with Mercury, because our emotions will be at an all-time high. And, you know, the Mercury retrograde period lasts for 3 weeks, so it's not the end of the world. And like I said, it's not the hardest of all the retrogrades to go through. This Venus one we're going through right now is crazy. And Saturn, that's when everything went crazy and all the riots and everything started happening. But it's needed to happen, because in Capricorn it represents justice, okay? Capricorn is justice, money, politics. Saturn is the principal. It's the teacher. It's the one that's there to give you lessons. Going retrograde means, from our perspective on Earth, it looks like it's going backwards. It's not. But Earth is moving faster. But it's a time for us to reflect these things inward, okay? So that's the crazy energy that we're dealing with right now. Check on your friends. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. And just know that the energy will all pass. These are all emotions and waves that we ride, and you just have to learn to surf them. So Venus will be back direct on the 26th. So that energy will start to cease, and we'll feel a little bit better with relationships, and that kind of disillusion will start to go away. And but yeah, just be prepared. Be prepared for tomorrow and the next, you know, the following day. They're not going to be the easiest on our mind, but we can get through this, okay, guys? So I'm here for you guys. If you need anything, making this short and sweet. I love you all. Do not hesitate to reach out for me. I'm definitely here for all of you guys. Sending my love.